big FYB. Yeah, it was a big FYB day today. I mean, even Joe Biden's thinking about starting to smoke or what have you. Start smoking. Kamala Harris is thinking about placing an order. All together, not on anything I have, but just Colorado or wherever the heck they get it. Ugh. Even Obama said he inhaled or something like that. I remember that was a big thing. Had the person inhaled or what have you. Because back then, um, he was rarely seen in politics. Now you see up in Canada, you got me and Justin. We smoke a lot. But I remember growing up in the United States, I had the privilege to pledge allegiance to the flag. And when I did that, during that process or whatnot, when I went to school, nobody smoked marijuana where I was. And other than one guy, his name was Antonio or something, that was down in Florida. But I generally didn't really hang out with him. I would go up and dap him up or whatever at the movies with no bad intentions. But like, because I felt like, because we used to live on the same street. We was never beefing on our street, really. Like, there was this one time um, um, he got in trouble because he smoked a cigarette or what have you. And it was just like some plaything. And I ran down the thing. And I told you, but it was never, not on our street. Our street was like, everybody was pretty cool. Like, you deal with maybe occasional theft. So rare, so rare stolen skateboard or something, but never nothing like that on our street. It was everybody loved each other. Everybody felt like we were family, like friends or what have you. Back when we was just kids, I remember when his brother was a football player and he had the dreadlocks but this was the football player, not like because back then I never got into the music and all that. So I had heard, like, I didn't understand how many different locks there are. You got Florida, you got football player locks. Like he had a sweatband with the locks like kind of like Richard Sherman or whatever. And Dolphins or whatever. And then but then I knew that there was like these bigger dreadhead black people. That's how I used to think of them. Because now I say N word and yada yada. I know the whole lingo. But back then, when I was a kid, living with my dad and my mom, we'd go to West Palm Beach, and very rarely, I only seen once or twice these other type of dread ones. And then I started to realize, there's all this Florida rap and all that, because I used to hang around at the skate park in what they would call, it was near the mall, and at the mall they had a hip hop clothing store, just like any city does or what have you. And then I went in the hip hop clothing store. I started seeing them. My brother he was already sort of, I never was in the streets. I'd play Xbox and hang out with all my white friends and all that and go to school. But my brother, since like way back, he was like, hey, back then we started from nothing. My brother, he used to sell small amounts of marijuana. So he was sort of more involved with the community than I was, because when you start smoking and marijuana and all that, you start to get more involved with your community sometimes. And most of the time, that's how it is. Because you want to have munchies, you want to hang out with the woman, you want to smoke with your friends. Oh, yeah, my brother was big into smoking with his friends, big into like hiking and all that or whatever. Big into this, big into that or whatever. But beside the fact he was into the streets or whatever when it came to these other characters that me and my dad never been around, these other characters. And Junior ended up being a pretty good character. I talked to him on the phone or whatever, even on the webcam. I got a video on YouTube. And he ended up being a cool guy, and he was from a whole different. See, me and my dad, and even Gotti or Nick, came from Canada. And when we came from Canada, it was um, mostly white Christian people like me. I didn't know any, like, I had heard of all these other, like, hey, if you can't afford to go to the Chinese restaurant and you can't afford to go to Indian restaurant, all that, you don't even know these people. They don't even exist to you until somebody like comes in and says, hey, these Indian people, this, that, and the other. Like, everybody's just living their own life, right? And that's what I'm doing. I'm eating. But here's the thing. Okay, I'm a natural born citizen of Canada, and so is my brother. But we were supposed to be dual citizens. Uh, well, my dad and my mom retained it, and I did for a while, longer than my brother. But they said my brother acted way too Canadian down there. Did. I remember because it was like they treated me a little bit better because I would go to school and learn the American stuff because I knew that like I was going to need all these skills. I had heard about it, the United States, and well, I was old enough to know they were like a big industrial power and still are and whatever when it came to money. They had a lot of, and I always wanted money because I knew I was had a big appetite, whatever. So I would go to school and learn the English and learn their system of measurements because I had already went to school in Canada and learned the measurements that we have. So see, most of the kids in the United States were only learning inches and feet and yada yada. I had already known meters, kilometers, all that, millimeters. Whereas my dad, or sorry, so I had an advantage educationally, as I should have, being a foreign exchange student is what I call myself now. And I got to go down there and learn the inches and everything, the law, the politics. And I fell in love with the United States of America and everything like that or whatever. And you're supposed to stay true to America and yada yada. There's a whole law to it or whatever. Because I went to school with the real Americans that still live in America or what have you, to this day or what have you. But then I returned back to Canada and I seen our politics were different. And I got that feeling because I got to go back to school here in Canada. I attended as much schooling as I could attend. I never just dropped out. I went to school in the United States, perfect attendance, really, except when my parents got divorced. I had a discrepancy down in Florida. But when I returned to Canada, I got to go to I started going to Canadian school, and I was living with my brother and whatnot. I went to Canadian school and all that. My brother just had a child and everything, and I was just going to what is it? Seventh grade, sixth grade. No. By that time, I was in ninth grade. I was in sixth, seventh, and eighth in the United States. And when I was in the United States, my mom failed me, which ended up to be good in the long run because it taught me a good lesson to never trust anyone, even your own mother, when it came to your own life. So that taught me a lot when it came to my finances. I wouldn't have been successful like I am now if I would have trust my mom because if she would have never failed me, I would have thought life was all hunky dory and all that. And it's not all hunky dory, is what my dad and everyone else used to say. And so I don't trust my mom, but I do trust my mom. Like at the end of the day, it taught me a lesson. But there is certain things that any human being is going to do. If you put 5,000 in cash on the table, there's a good chance 5,000 in cash ain't going to be there if anybody but yourself sees it. Okay, and that's just the matter of the fact. So that taught me that. That's why I'm pretty good with cash. And people think they got a one up on me, but bro, I learned that lesson. So sometimes what I do, I have a strategy. I let people think they one up on me and all that, yada yada or whatever, but they really didn't. And it ends up whacking them out in the future. But I didn't do anything wrong. I just whatever folded, put my cards down. I was like, all right, bud, you won. hey, if they thought they won and they didn't or whatever, that's their thing. But yeah, I know I got taught a lot of hard lessons, and I think a lot more hard lessons are going to come. But before I hit that stature that I so think I desire, and then I hear by the time you hit there, you're like wishing you were young again. So that's where you are, and then so most of the time you just try to enjoy. I got so much things more than any other person, and that's all it was. I had to have more things than other people, especially the guys that thought they were like more smart than me or what have you. All right, it was like I had to. It was like, all right, bud. It was like I just did it like that, and I always will remain to have more than any other person of my peer level. It's just even if you throw me outside with no clothes on, people are still going to be jealous. Oh, look at the tattoos and the audio. But that's the thing. You probably won't do that or what have you or what have you. You know what I mean? But anyways, um, but it's happened and it'll happen. But you know how it'll happen? If you violate the law, you got to follow that law, okay? Because that's what it comes down to it at the end of the day. Hey, you can get shamed uh, in front of the most beautiful women or the most influential, but that doesn't determine your outcome because, hey, listen, they shamed me too when I had to go to the dentist and have surgery. There was the most influential women, okay, shamed me. But I knew I would persevere, and I know I'll persevere and persevere again. But to see what level I'm at now in comparison to where I was just a few years ago, and just hearing the voice of the competitors, because it's not everyone. I deal with people every day. I deal a lot of business. I deal with a lot of friendships. Okay. And you can tell, and it just tastes so bittersweet when you get to hear their anger because anger hurts. Actually, stress is one of the number one killers of your human body is when you are overstressed. So the more stressed you are, I know I'm killing you. It's like smoking a damn cigarette and holding it in. So mind your own business and play your role because if you don't, you start to get that stress. It's not against anybody. I'm saying it can start to happen to even me, and I say I'm like this stress-free person because I've unlocked the secret to life. Okay, it's called fucking hard work. Okay, you gotta do what you gotta do legally to be able to survive here without going to jail or getting killed or whatever. They say it's like um if you want to go that way, you're gonna end up in jail or dead. All right, you have to learn a skill, and this happens with celebrities. And I'm so sorry, excuse me on that. A lot of the time, some of the normal people they think like, oh, what's the thing? The persona. If the person has an individual persona, it's like, yeah, he doesn't, and he won't go any. I don't care. There's no. I'm not worried about the guy at all. So why do you keep asking me about it? Because I'm not worried. I have high security here. Okay, this is a mossy oak. If somebody home invaded me with intentions to hurt me, I have this blade here. That's what it states under law. And if it's bad enough, I have my firearm. In Canada, it's just actually even the air guns that expel a pellet are called a firearm. If you do your research and you dig deep enough on the law, you have, yeah, but you're not going to beat me. So come and do it. Stop talking and come and do it already. So yeah, you're trying to figure out, you just keep saying that. So now it's came down to you're mentally retarded. Because I'm sitting here right now and I'm saying I am capable of defending myself under law, and then I'm referencing the laws, and all you keep saying is delusional thought, how you're going to do it, and yada yada. So now that's conspiracy to commit a crime, and you can be charged. And you know how much money can be made and paid to the officers when they actually get a person for a crime that they're actually committing, that's actually doing a bad thing, to the money and all that, because it comes down to the money. Don't come down to nothing else. Anyways, and I have my deterrent, and that's fully legal under law. Okay, I have my everything. If I had my PAL, and this is another issue or another thing that people don't understand. Okay, in Canada, you need a PAL. It's called a possession acquisition license, enable to or enable for you, or sorry, in order to you to be able to purchase certain firearms within certain categories, mostly your firearms that are known in the movies and all that the kids know. Like your long range rifles, your shotguns, and all that. So, what's it called? But that's just in Canada. If I was ever to go, see, it comes down to money. In the US, you don't need a license. I have money. So if I was in the US and I follow the law. So the law states that I have to have a license up here in Canada for anything bigger than this one. Well, not bigger. It's not caliber. It has nothing to do with caliber. This is a 22 caliber air gun. It's fully legal in Canada, under 500 feet per second. But here's the thing. The reason why they don't agree with you on it is because you're saying the only reason you have that is just to make fun of me. Then that's illegal. That's some defamation of character, and I can have you. You'll be in big trouble for that. So you're just trying to defamate our characters mine specifically. You're saying by saying that, okay, but that's not the fact. The fact is Thomas Perron-Slote is a very successful guy, or what have you. I don't care what you call me. I'm not a full-out politician yet. You have to be older for that. You have to have big money. But I'm an entertainer. I'm this and that and the other. And guess what? He's got enough money to purchase a really nice firearm in the United States if he were ever down there. Like, we're talking whatever firearm that Tom needs and able to protect Tom. Okay? He can afford it. It's okay. So don't think it's like that, because it ain't. Because Tom cares a lot about himself. And Tom has the money in order to protect himself. And it just wouldn't happen because Tom has the money. And Tom would not be in that position where he would not have his firearm with, and that's Tom. And he's a specific guy. And I've never did anything illegal or whatever, but I've never been shot. So I've never been shot. And I'm currently living May 31st, 2022. Yeah, but that don't. But yeah, I have my little firearm or whatever that keeps me pretty safe, but eventually I do want to get that PAL. I've been working towards getting that. And that comes with not only not getting in trouble, not only not violating the law or what have you, but also keeping your nose clean when it comes to any problems. Like I said with the Rittenhouse. Should have stayed home, is what I said with Rittenhouse. You should have stayed home. It ended up being a self-defense, but he'll tell you himself he don't want them problems again. Maybe he does. But hey, some people like to go to court and some people don't. And I was one of those people, I like to have a good meal at my house or my apartment. I can't afford to pay a lawyer because they start to make you pay them and all that or whatever too. and it ain't no fun runaround. Okay, take it from me. It costs a lot of money, and it ain't the money; it's the time. You can't get it back, and you could die in jail. Hey, it doesn't matter who you are. Trust me, when you go to jail, I'm telling you, if you're a citizen and you never went to jail, take it from me, you don't have to go, but it's like it does something to your nervous system. Actually, well, it's a good, like, we're very brittle creatures. And like they said, it's all about the wrong place at the wrong time sometimes. Yeah, it's a wrong place at the wrong time is the biggest thing. If you're down there and that officer's there, wrong place at the wrong time. If they catch you, da 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 da, wrong place at the wrong time. If you got killed, this, that, and the other over at such and such, it was the wrong place at the wrong time, etc., etc. You have to know your place and know your time, even in your own house. Like, I know this is my apartment, but hey, my reputation is, oh, he's so strong, he's so this. Because you only see half of it. I can only record my achievement, my celebration. But you don't see a lot of the hard work that comes along with it. Like, if I get threatened, or no, it's not even just about that. But it's real time. And yeah, everybody's got the same 24 hours. So what can you do in it? But well, you got to work. Believe it or not, I have to get up and carry stuff. I've been carrying stuff, doing hard labor. You'll hear some people say that I don't do any hard labor. Those people are kookamani crazy. They just don't pay attention to me all the time. Tom has been doing hard labor for a long time. Tennessee, stacking wood, doing this, helping Bob Ward till the field. Moving, helping my brother move his stuff, moving stuff. Moving, yeah, okay. Lots of moving. Lots of doing stuff. All right, lots of doing stuff. Okay. Lots of learning. It used to take me years to hit a certain level financially. Now it only takes me like a couple months. Because I learned a lot of methods, and now they're stuck in my head, and it's an automated system. But when I was a kid, it was all learning, getting into the routine, and then it becomes an automatic system. But here's the thing. So you learn what you need in life. Like I learned, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't tell you what the heck. So sometimes I do that too. Can you blame me? It's like, because I learned a lesson before where I taught people too much. And it's not like that out here. It's like, I'm a man. This is my place. Like, hey, I'm a nice guy, but hey, like, and that's generally how it is. And on the internet, generally, you meet people that have their own lives or whatever. But then there is people that have no life or whatever. And they're trying to create a life here in Canada or the United States. And they don't have no way to make money like us or whatever. And I'm not teaching them all the way unless they were to pay me or something. But I'm not going to teach them anything bad. But hey, you can't be me. And you can't be Soldier Boy either. The only thing is that I can teach you is that you can be somebody. You can be yourself. And it's all about growing yourself. And if you work hard, and sometimes working hard is fun, especially when you're young, it's very fun because you're new to life. And working hard is something you always wanted to do when you came into this world, generally. Generally, that's how I see it. It was like I was born into the world for a reason. Because God has a reason, so I got to do whatever I got to do to be the reason that God or whatever. But it ain't about God, it's about myself. So I believe in God, but I don't believe in Him. You know what I mean? I know he's there, something's there to a certain extent, but I don't do anything for him really. Hey, listen, I try to. Well, actually, I use God as a representation of positivity, and I use the devil or whatever as representations of negative stuff or whatever. So you please God or whatever by doing good stuff, by doing the stuff you're supposed to do in society, and then like well, my religion, I guess now that I'm at a certain age, it's like everybody's deviant at some time, and they have their time to be deviant, like whether it be Halloween or whatever. It's like Joe Biden must be out of his fucking shell or whatever, because I already said that's not what happened. So stop putting the pressure on my mind like anything bad happened to me when they lost that chink out there west or whatever. Because it didn't, nothing happened to me. So why do you keep putting that pressure on my head like I should be sad about something that has nothing to do with me? Okay. Okay. But that is unbelievably annoying how the Americans, especially some of the black ones and some of your Southerners, keep talking about some people that lost their lives in Canada. It's none of their business. I never said that. I was more than nice to everybody in the United States. I was not even living in the United States when that guy killed himself. Cody, he was not even. I was not even in the I was not even in the United States when that happened. Nor what had anything to do with me. If he was a man, he should have presumed to be a man down in his state. I gave him plenty of space. That's what you're not crediting me for. Is like I understood. It was like Tom, he's a certain gorilla. Okay? And I came down and I met everybody. And you guys were certain people too. But Tom was from Canada, and Tom knew that it wasn't going to fit. I was like, hey, I want Cody Bertram to grow up and be a good man. I want Kyle Rice to grow up and become a strong man. I didn't know they were going to hate me, but I thought that's what was going to happen. And then when I went to Canada, a couple of years later, he killed himself. And I would have said that wasn't a strong man, but it isn't, because he should have pushed forward and persevered. Nobody just did anything for me. I had to get up and get on my own two legs as well. I could have very well chose to not follow my dad. My brother chose not to respect my father, and I chose to respect him. That's why I got more clout or whatever they say out of my dad than my brother did. Because it was like, I don't know how to explain it, but you got to respect your elders. And by respecting his elders, I'm sure Cody could have found an elder person in his area that would have guided him to where the hell he needed to go. And it wouldn't have been war either. Because then listen, it's like, you know what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be the American dream. It's supposed to be Cody was supposed to live on Bertram, sorry. He was supposed, like all the rest of our friends did. And he was supposed to have, he was supposed to have, sorry. He was supposed to have a wife or a boyfriend or whatever. But I wasn't going to be that boyfriend because I'm not gay. That's just a misrepresentation or whatever that even misrepresent myself. But when it comes to the actual sexual intercourse, I have it with the females, not the men. So I don't consider myself gay. Now, have I watched gay pornography? Yeah, I have. But when it comes to like real sexual intercourse, it has to be with a woman or I won't do it. what is it called? Unless it is like one of those very rare moments that it was like one of those, but that rarely does not happen for me anymore. I'm such a big man in myself that I don't really share a woman with another man. But I do enjoy those pornographies every once in a while. But when it comes to the actual physicality of it, but down in America and even up here in Canada, they say you should have gay pride, and I respect that. If that's your personal choice, and that's what you want, and that's what you want for yourself, and that's what you want, like enjoy to do and want to do, I got no issue with it. I even got gay friends. I've been around people that, trust me, they did some gay stuff, but I'm not going to do no gay acts because I don't know, something changed with me that I just wouldn't do it. Only with the females. And the females is like, even that's got to be a formal setup. But what is it called? I guess I'm starting to learn it too. But Cody could have very well moved on. I mean, everybody did, but he didn't, and that's unfortunate. But that has nothing to do with me. Everybody had. I didn't go in and hurt Cody. Cody made the decision himself. I was about as smart as Cody was. And my brain always said, if you hang yourself or whatever, you're going to die. Yeah, but it's not that bad. I know it's hot right now, but I know it's really hot. But I used to fan myself, but cold showers. And what about air conditioners? That would be a good investment. Window air conditioners. Fans. Oh, I used to have a fan. Okay, but yeah, it's really hot down there. In certain areas. Well, you got to figure it out. Cody could have very well got a job. I thought he was going to go military. He could have did something other than kill himself, okay? Because Tom left. He could have started to talk money and say, Bob Lord, I seen Tom used to help you. What about me? Because Tom's up in Canada now or whatever. I'm the guy here now all the way. I'm handling it now. Boom. You would have been the next. He would have been a good man. And he wouldn't have been able to, and some people say, yeah, he would have been able to beat me mafialistically. But listen, then that's a whole different story. You're acting like this guy was an enemy to me when he wasn't an enemy to me at all. I mean, listen, the guy's no longer living. But that's just how sometimes it happens. I'm very generous, as I said. I mean, I even let the guy have his whole own area. Even though we owned acres and acres and acres. He lived down the street. He didn't have acres and acres and acres. But, hey, that's got nothing to fucking do with me or whatever, okay? You're my neighbor. You mind your own business to a certain degree and yada yada. Like, dude, like it's none of their neighbor's business that we own 13 acres and they only own a half acre. Okay? Because that pisses me the fuck off. Yeah, but motherfucker, it's none of your business. Okay? If you want to go get a job, go get a job. Because it don't cost much money to buy a fucking acre of yourself. And guess where he would have been if he would have just got a job? You could have moved to Memphis and fucking worked at Burger King. I've been worse than Memphis. I've been to the worst neighborhoods in Toronto. It's just as big as Memphis, if not bigger. So don't give me that bullshit. I've almost been shot many times by real bullets. He could have went to Memphis. He could have got a job at Burger King. That's what I would have did if I had to stay there. I would have been fucking working. So don't give me that shit about that. But it is got something to do with yourself. I worked. Now, I don't know what my dad wants to lie about some of these ones that ain't seen Tom in a while or whatever, because I work. The numbers don't lie, eh? It comes down to the numbers. It comes down. That's the one thing my dad forgot was about numbers. He was big on work ethic. Hey, and work ethic, well, some people, I was going to say the negative connotation, it will only get you so far, but work ethic is important because you want to have good ethics when you're working, because generally everybody's church, God fearing people, and you are too, and you want to work to maintain the quality and ensure that the person gets what they pay for. But at the same time, and I already knew about numbers way back when, is I said, hey, this ain't even worth doing for the numbers we're talking. And once it starts to get like that, you can do it automatically. That's your power. See, like my dad being a big landowner, he sells it for super cheap, even though he can upsell it and make way more money, like I would. But that comes with security, because some people may make an offer and then you deny their offer, and then now they're mad or whatever because you denied their offer and yada yada. So that's why you needed more sons or whatever. But you had me, but man, it didn't work out. You gotta, I don't know how you do it. You got stuck down in the United States and they got you. But I heard about that shit long time ago down there. Um it's if you don't got the money to mortgage, don't mortgage, because you're gonna be starving and eating fucking, because these people, you don't have to associate. My dad loves his friends or whatever that bring him his food. All right, loves them. And if it wasn't for all his friends, because Tommy don't have many friends, but John, my dad was big on friends, and I have some friends, but not like John. John sees these people all the time. He's big in the community or whatever. It's John Slote. Da da da. He's the most whatever. He's one of them or whatever. They don't consider me one of them, I don't think. I mean, I'm a half, I guess, one of them. Because I don't eat that shit that so and so gives you. I mean, I eat this, yeah, I guess sometimes. But man, like the ham I had last night wasn't bad. But when it came to the chicken with the feathers on it and all that or whatever, I don't like the chicken with the feathers on it. So it's a whole different community. Up here, they give you they give you um prepared food. Down there, you get the chicken with the feathers on it. I heard about that too. That's what made me want to come back. Was I heard that down in United States, if you were poor or whatever, you had to ask people for food, and you'd get like the chicken with the feathers on it, and you literally had to pull the feathers right up. But up here, our donators and all that, they give us like packaged meat and all from the butcher or from the store too, or the local butchers. But it beats having to de-feather the chicken. Okay, my dad still has to de-feather his chickens every once in a while. Which, hey, it ain't a bad thing. He's still eating chicken, because even I had to de-feather I de-feathered chicken when I was down there. Nikki made, everybody remembers the meal or whatever. It's a famous meal or whatever, and he made, they made, it was well, Nikki made it when she put it in the oven and yada yada, but it was gravy, like, I don't know, this gravy chicken, but it was so good at the time, I remember. And it's not that anybody's cooking's bad. It's like, look at how much fat Tom's got on his belly. So my tongue is changed. I'm not like before. I would have told you, oh, it was heavenly and yada. You know, I used to love that minute rice. Even all the way into Canada, I ate that minute rice. I just ate it, ate it, ate it, right? I loved it. I even bought it a couple times, whatever. But Nikki and my dad introduced me to minute rice. So people are looking for that time period or whatever on Tom or whatever. Hey, you were the person that let Tom try the minute rice or try the shells and cheese. And then when Tom came up to Canada now or whatever happened in between and whatever. Okay, it's like a lot of hard work in between. Now I buy large amounts of shells and cheese, like more than my dad. And now I buy more whatever's more than my dad. So now the companies love me and my dad or whatever because my dad, Nicky, they gave me my try sample, my American try sample. But my dad always yells and screams when I call him. He doesn't want anything to do with it. He didn't want nothing to do with the Hells Angels, really. He didn't want nothing to do with anything like that. He just wants to be Dad or John. He doesn't even want to be Dad. He just wants to be John and Nikki. Okay, not even the Slote, just John and Nikki. And he just wants to be happy and eat his meals or whatever and rest. And then they watch their TV, but they work a lot. And TV ain't really a thing right now, though. You shouldn't be out watching TV, they're saying right now. But they did like their TV. And he likes to go out shooting. The last I remember, he used to go out shooting and all that. But I don't know. But anyways, he's not a bad guy or whatever. And where is I going? Oh yeah, we had all the different chicken, but they go to the grocery store too because I used to live with them. They would go to wherever grocery store and they would get their fresh meats and their shells and cheese. But well, if I was my dad, I would tell him, Dad, start buying a little extra. It'll make him super happy to know you or whatever. Like he could buy bigger sauces or whatever, but he keeps it so regular. But that ain't no pressure. He goes in, he buys this one or two boxes of shells and cheese, and and all that. But they got vehicles like crazy. He can just spin around on his PT, this and that, and got it off. Cruise around on in the PT cruise. Um, yeah, I remember the store we used to go shop at because it was right down the street from the scrap guy. And I remember the last thing I seen on there was that they were not accepting cashier's checks or something. And my dad and me went to the metal place down the street or whatever. It's like, don't get me confused. I live in Canada, but who wouldn't want to go back and see all his friends? But listen, it doesn't sound like any people are single. I mean, I'm looking for a single woman, but everybody's got husbands and wives or whatever, you know. So there would be no reason other than when my dad passes away. I'll have to see what goes on with that kinship and the property. I will be putting in for that. So, but yeah, I remember going down to that scrap metal place down the thing or whatever. It's like, darn, like I'll have to hire a local lawyer there in Linden or whatever. Or no. This is down in a whole different area. I'll have to hire a lawyer out of Savannah, Tennessee or whatever when that happens or whatever. Oh, trust me, when they learn how the Canadian dollar gets instantly transferred to the American one and it's almost the same amount, oh, they're gonna be like, Thomas, here's the keys, you know, like but that'll take some time. Yeah. Like that's all right. But anyways, I just want some piece of the pie. I felt like I was so skimmed on on my dad's inheritance that it's just unbelievable. It's like to hear that Nikki wouldn't skim me a piece of the cheese or whatever. It really just really sickens me that I just wouldn't think that would be the truth. It's like, but at the same time, you're like an older lady than me or what have you. And really, it's like by that time, who knows how old people are going to be, and who knows if who knows if anyone will be around, because you know how it is right now. Like I said, they scam you for your mortgage and shit. Okay, big time. So if you can only afford to rent, enjoy your life as a renter, because if you can't really afford to be a mortgage person or a homeowner, you will get eaten alive. So you have to really afford it. Um, my dad, he worked his way up, and he got smart. He got his guns. He got his guns. And that was a big good thing for him because they would have the gangs were after him. Because back in Florida or whatever, when Nick or whatever and him got into a fight, he forgot Nick was like this ruthless guy or whatever. John Gotti, ruthless guy. He's extremely ruthless. He would kill my dad, John, if he could. That's how ruthless that Nick is. But he can't. That's the truth. He can't. My dad's got guns, and they don't have any power down in the part of the United States that my dad's at. But Junior seemed pretty cool, but that is one Spanish guy. Oh, my dad would have got killed. My dad would have got, there's so many gangs. My dad doesn't understand, especially down there. Up here, it's like Amish Mafia. But down in the United States, there's Amish Mafia, but there is a lot of gangs when it comes to the Spanish, the blacks, the this, the that. And I tell my dad, watch this, watch that, how many gangs are out there. And they're like, he literally around him, and they were gonna, well, they were just like this tattoo here. This one with the claws. They come down with their claws. And they'll swoop down and get you. Well, my dad's got his guns, but hey, once you hit a certain age, if you don't got your son, you are going to get fucking eaten alive, and they're going to laugh at you because they're going to say, Johnny thought he was a vulture. And they're going to peck you away like a vulture out there.